Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah. Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah. Inna alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. We're continuing with the topic of Khushoo during the prayer. We've spoke about things we can do before the prayer, such as brushing our teeth, making sure our clothing is clean, performing the sunnahs of the wudu as a means of opening up the doors to our concentration with Allah. We also talked about things we can do during the prayer, such as repeating, pondering the meaning of the Fatiha, repeating the Fatiha after the Imam, saying the sunnahs such as Simi Allahu liman hamidan rabbana wa lakal ham, etc., to keep our concentration. And also we talked about how the prayer has pillars, certain things that must be done in order for your prayer to be accepted, such as reciting the Fatiha in every rakat, to recite it slowly, to pause at the end of each sentence because it's a conversation with Allah. How if you focus on that, that will help to keep you connected with Allah. And also performing other sunnahs, such as raising the finger up and down when you recite the tashahhud, because the finger becomes like a bar, or placing the hands across the chest to keep your hands from fiddling with your clothing. All these things can help you to develop and maintain your khushua during the prayer. And also today what I'm going to do is speak about the importance of seeking refuge during the prayer against shaitan. We have to understand as Muslims that shaitan is your enemy. And one of the aspects of his hatred towards us is he operates through that personal jinn that is assigned to you. As you are making your prayers, your personal jinn will whisper thoughts to you. He will give you insinuating thoughts to try to distract you, to try to break your concentration, to try to confuse you, to try to make you forget how many rakats you made, or forget what verse of the Fatiha you were on. And this is a problem that a lot of us suffer with. So again, in Arabic you hear people refer to it as waz. Okay, these are insinuating thoughts. Insinuating thoughts that come from your personal jinn while you are praying to try to get you to break your concentration. As Allah tells us in the Quran, in the interpretation of the meaning, ever feeble indeed is the plan of shaitan. So again, you know, you have to understand that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You're human. Being human, you have that jinn. And every time we stand, to worship Allah, those thoughts are going to enter your mind. And so what we can do to break those thoughts away is to simply seek refuge, to seek refuge against shaitan, to seek refuge against him. This is why we say, for example, Brother Muhammad was asking about Bismillah. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would recite Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim silently. Bismillah is part of the Fatiha. The Prophet, Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman, they would all recite it silently. Okay, but by reciting it, you're mentioning the name of Allah, and this keeps your jinn away. This keeps him from trying to distract you. Because again, your personal jinn will attack you from the front, from the back, where you least expect it, to try to pull you away from your relationship with Allah. So again, this is why we do other sunnahs of the prayer. For example, the raising of the hands. You don't have to raise the hands before and after bowing, but we do it because it pushes back that personal jinn. This is why we say Allahu Akbar after the Imam. You don't have to say Allahu Akbar after the Imam, but every time we mention Allah's name, this again runs your jinn away. And also, again, our Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, listen to what he said. One of the companions went to the Prophet and said, O Prophet of Allah, the shaitan interrupts me when I pray, and I become confused in my recitation. I start to forget words. The Prophet said, that's a devil whose name is Khanzib. And when you sense his presence, seek refuge with Allah from him and blow air over your left shoulder 3 times. And this companion said he did what the Prophet said, and that distraction went away. So sometimes when you're praying, you're standing up reciting the Fatiha, and your mind starts to wander, and you start forgetting words. Say A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim and blow air over your left shoulder 3 times. Go, just blow air lightly like that over your left shoulder 3 times. That'll knock that jinn away from distracting you. Also in another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when any one of you gets up to pray, your devil comes and confuses you, mixing up your prayer and creating doubt in your mind so that you forget how many rakats you've prayed. If any of you experience this, then do 2 prostrations while you're sitting. Let me explain this hadith. Say, for example, you're praying, all of a sudden you start thinking about how you have to go to work. And then you forget, oh my God, did I do 2 rakats? Or did I do 4 rakats? You forget how many rakats you made. So what you do is just say, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim. Blow air 3 times over your left shoulder. And then when you go and think how many rakats you did, take a guess. And when you do the last rakat, instead of giving salams, perform 2 prostrations while you are sitting and then give salams. So in other words, when you're in the last rakat, after you recite the tashahhud, instead of saying assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, perform 2 prostrations of sujood and then say assalamu alaikum. That way it'll make up my asthma. God, excuse me, need my puffer. It'll make up for if you missed, didn't do enough rakats. Okay, or you did didn't do enough rakats. Also, sometimes when you're praying, your personal jinn will make you think that you've passed gas. You may think, oh my God, I think I broke my wudu. Well, the Prophet said, if any of you are praying, do not stop unless you feel that something has come out. Unless you hear a sound or smell an odor. Because a lot of times you could be praying, your stomach starts churning, and you might think, oh my God, I broke wind, I passed gas. If you don't smell anything or you didn't hear anything, keep on praying. Because your personal jinn will make you think that you passed gas to make you stop praying. So do keep on praying. If your stomach is rumbling around and you're in doubt as to whether or not you broke your wudu, unless you smell the smell or hear the sound, continue on to pray. And again, your personal jinn will play many, many different tricks on you. We have a hadith whereas the Prophet was asked about a man who thought he had broke his wudu, but he didn't. The Prophet said the shaitan may come to any one of you when you are praying, and he will open up your buttocks and make you think that you've broken your wudu, when in fact you did not. So if this happens to any of you, do not stop your prayer unless you hear the sound of the wudu breaking, or you smell the odor with your nose. If you don't smell it, You don't hear it, you keep on praying. Okay, so again, I want you guys to understand, this happens to all of us because your personal jinn never sleeps. He's going to do everything in his power to try to deter your relationship with Allah. So he'll make you become confused about how many rakats you've made. He'll make you think you broke your wudu. He'll make you start thinking about things you got to do so as to distract you. So we have to be on guard against this. And so now what I want to do is give you some hadiths from our role models, the companions, so you can see how they managed to keep their concentration during the prayer. For example, let's look at Mujahid. Who is Mujahid? He was one of the companions. He said whenever one of the companions would stand to pray, they would be too fearful of their Lord to allow their eyes to look at anything else or to turn aside or to fidget with their clothes. An example was Ibn al-Zubair. Whenever Ibn al-Zubair would stand to pray, he would stand immobile like a stick. He would not move at all. Once he was prostrating during a battle. They were fighting against the Romans or the Persians, or one of them. And a missile was launched at him. Ibn al-Zubair was so intent on his prayer that he didn't even hear the explosion. He didn't even know that the missile had even struck the ground, guys. He didn't even raise his head. He didn't even acknowledge it. That's how strong his Khushoo was, that he was not even aware of a missile being shot at Mecca while he was praying during a battle. Also, another example is Muslima ibn Bashar. Once he was praying in a mosque, and part of the mosque collapsed. The people were running, but he continued to pray. He didn't even notice. He didn't even notice that the mosque had collapsed. That's how strong his concentration was. And also Ali. Ali was a great example for us. Whenever the adhan was called, Ali would take it so serious because he viewed prayer as a trust between yourself and Allah. A trust that Allah offered to the heavens and the earth, and they refused it. But man took it on. So again, these are just examples of some of the companions to see how strong their focus, their attentiveness was during the prayer. Listen to what Sa'd ibn Mu'adh said. Sa'd ibn Mu'adh said, I have 3 qualities that I wish I could keep up all the time. Then I would really be something. And they are, whenever I pray, I don't think about anything except the prayer I am performing. And if I hear any hadith about the Prophet, I don't have any doubts about it. And whenever I attend a funeral, I don't think about anything except what that funeral says and what is being said to it, subhanAllah. So that shows how the companions, they didn't play when it came to their relationship with Allah. They didn't take life for granted. So again, guys, when you're making your salat, it's normal to be distracted. That's part of being human. But the thing is to catch yourself, to get your focus back in tune. When you find yourself thinking about things, your mind wandering during the prayer, say A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim to put your mind back on force. And then blow air over your left shoulder 3 times to knock away that personal jinn. Okay? On that note, we'll stop right here for today. Tomorrow we'll continue by speaking Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah. Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah.